The Chicago Bulls front office ranks dead last in CBS Sports ranking of NBA front offices. Me and Pat have been telling y'all that for a while. There should be no surprise there. We're also going to talk about who do we think should stay and who's better for the long term, Josh Giddey or Coby White. We're going to get to all that plus more on today's Locked On Bulls.
You are Locked On Bulls, your daily Chicago Bulls podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Thank you for tuning in to Locked On Bulls, member of the Locked On Podcast Network, where it's your team every single day. That's Pat, the designer, host and creator of the Windy City Breeze, and host of the Chicago Bears podcast over at ESPN 1000. I'm Hayes, also creator of Chicago Bulls Central, Chicago Bears Central YouTube pages and podcasts. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new FanDuel customers can get $150 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. You know who's not winning? The Chicago Bulls front office. Pat, CBS Sports ranked all 30 NBA front offices, and the Chicago Bulls ranked dead last. They're in the last tier. In that tier with them were the Sacramento Kings at number 29, the Phoenix Suns at number 28, and the Dallas Mavericks at number 27. I'm sorry, but you trade a generational star and get day-to-day Davis back. I think that should make you 30th alone, but I get it. It was more sustained over time. How do you feel about the rankings, brother?
I mean, listen, as far as them being the worst, where's this tough? And look, I think that they're horrible. I think that they sit on their hands. They do too many things to hold the Bulls back. I think that they do too many things where their decision making is way too late. I think that they are absolutely bottom five. But when you say worst,
there's a lot that goes now. Did you get to read the article? Because they absolutely killed the Chicago Bulls and everything. They said, hey, do they sign good contracts? Patrick Williams on a $90 million contract. Now, I do feel they overlooked the fact that Coby and I are on good contracts.
Yes.
Alex Caruso's contract was a good contract when we signed him to it. Jalen Smith's on a really good contract. The DeMar DeRozan contract itself was a good contract. Now, you gave up a first-round pick, which we ended up getting back. But the contract itself, I think that the Bulls sign decent contracts. It's just that there's that one every 2 or 3 years, like 90. I think
the Bulls sign. I'm trying to find the right way to frame. I think they sign directionless contracts.
I love the way. Okay, that's cool.
I think that they sign contracts where it's like, hey, you waited so long to move on from this guy. Now you have to sign him, and he actually has some leverage, even though he sucks.
Oh, that's not.
I think that. Yeah. I think to me, right, like when you talk about the Bulls front office, listen, there's a complete lack of direction in this front office, complete lack of direction, which may possibly make them the worst front office in the NBA. I think that puts them most in the running because they don't even stand on the things that they said they want to do. Hey, we want to have young players in here, and we want to add with draft capital.
3 months later, moved off from it.
No, you don't. I think that they do have the biggest issue right now is probably the fact that it seems like no matter what Billy Donovan does or lack of what Billy Donovan does, that he's not going anywhere. I think that's a major problem as well. I think that
but you're the DEI hire.
But I'm the DEI hire. Yeah, hey, face the DEI right here, baby. That's the greatest thing I've ever heard on Twitter, bro. Somebody was. That was elite, bro.
That was elite. Bro, and I saw that mug. It was like 9 o'clock in the morning, bro. I'm drinking my coffee. I'm like, DEI hire at 9 o'clock in the morning? Okay, all right.
But I think here's the part that is tough for me, though, right? Is AK is a star away from being right, which I hate. Mm-hmm. And I said this on the podcast, right? Like, if he gets a star in the draft and he's just swinging for the fences, hoping for luck, I'm not saying that's the right way to go about it either.
But if he hits it,
You got Coby White around him. You've got Ayo DeSumo. You have P. Will off of the bench. You've got Modest Buzelis, who seems like
if the Bulls look up, and I don't think this is going to happen. If the Bulls look up and get a first round pick, get the first overall pick in this draft, it'd be similar to Derrick Rose joining a team that had the year prior won almost 50 games, right? Like,
no. We on pace for 32. I don't know about that.
I know the year prior. I'm talking about the year. Well, yeah,
okay,
no, I'm
yeah,
saying,
yeah,
but
okay.
yeah. But I'm saying that if you luck up and get the first overall pick via lottery luck, and you are joining Cooper Flagg with a point guard that is great at distributing, you have a young forward in which now Cooper Flagg and Modest Buzelis are your forward combos for the future. You still got to find a center, even though I still like Jalen Smith there for a year. You got to figure, and as much as AKME gets on my nerves, I think if AKME does hit and somehow lucks up to get a star, that a player that develops into a star 1 or 2 years after drafting them, I actually think AK is going to actually cook after that. I think that he would cook after.
I don't know about that, but I think we would be in a situation where we stand pat on our assets way too much, where we do kind of do some of the similar things. But yeah, I think here's the thing, you're adding that to a better team. The reason I bring all that up is, in the frame of this conversation, though, there are franchises that got the star and still don't know what to do.
That's a fact. A lot of them.
The Charlotte Hornets, to me, are arguably the worst front office in basketball.
And see that's where I go, like Charlotte, and then even Phoenix. Like, I get it that Phoenix has talent, but you still got to look at the fact that you have a $200 tax salary cap and a $156 million second tax apron bill that's going to be paid out, and you're in the same place we are.
Yeah. I look at Phoenix, I look at Charlotte, I look at guys that have the stars and say, you guys are the idiots. Like, yeah, you got the star. Good job. Clap it up. Kevin Durant plays for your team. You almost lost to us. And I'm not going to lie to you. If not for a bad second quarter, you probably get clapped.
Yeah.
Like that. Those are the things for me where it's like, where I can say you're the worst front office. I can say that the Bulls, I hate their plan. I hate everything about how they're building my team. I think that they are basically just asleep at the wheel and hoping to God that they find their way home. They just wake up in the driveway, right? One of those situations. But when I look at worst front offices, if the Bulls had an asset like LaMelo Ball and kept building the team that way, you know how mad we would be? You know how infuriated we would be?
Go to the internal notes real quick.
I just seen it. Like, that to me would be nuts, bro.
Yeah.
And so I don't think that we're in that spot.
That's a fact.
And for me, that means that you're not the 30. And far be it for me to shoot the Bulls front office any bell. They're horrible.
Yeah, they're hurt. They're terrible.
I don't know, bro. That's one of those where it's just I almost have to defend them in a way.
Yeah.
It's gross. It's gross.
It's weird because the Bulls are bad. I want to be clear here, and they deserve the ranking as far as being in the bottom. I would not argue with them. Oh no, they should actually be at. No, it's just there are some front offices that have done some absolutely idiotic things over this stretch as well that just definitely deserve to be. And as long as Nico Harrison still has a job, like AK can always look at it and be like, "Hey, I'm not that bad."
Yeah. I don't know. The Nico Harrison one. Listen, it's
don't try to defend it, Pat.
No, because this is what I'm gonna say. It's absolutely horrible. Now it makes no sense. I do wonder if that situation. That did you see the conversation around the owner? Because remember, Cuban sold majority stock of the team.
He's not the majority owner anymore.
And apparently the rumor is that, and this is just rumor. This is not
selling the
fact.
team.
Well, no, the rumor is that the new owner of the team was not thrilled that they would not let her put a casino in the new Dallas stadium.
Rumors. Yeah.
And then
rumors that they could be
like,
moving.
well, I'll just move the team to Vegas. And the state was like, well, you can't move the team to Vegas. She was like, then I'll trade Luka. like This is what the rumor conversation was. If that is the case, we're following a wild timeline here, bro. Because she don't care. She making billions. She like, I just want my billion. I don't care if Luka's on the team.
Luka? Who cares if Luka's on the team? I don't even watch basketball. Who cares if Luka's on the team? That's probably what
you're telling me I should care about this Doncic guy. Who's Doncic?
That is hilarious, man. But
don't listen to this episode, Nick.
Listen, Nick is hurting right now, bro. Nick is in the place that Cool was a couple of years ago, and I feel for him. But hey,
I don't. This must been to an NBA Finals. Shut up. Quit crying, Nick. Oh, you got rid of Luka. I cover the Bulls.
That's facts. That's
and
facts.
They're whining about a team that got back Anthony Davis. Like,
that's hilarious. Next up, we're going to be talking about Coby and Josh Giddey, two players that Pat has historically been pretty down on, and I think I'm going to put him in a situation here where he has to talk positively, at least about one of them for the future. He'll find a way to get out of it. But we're going to talk about all that right after a message from DoorDash. NBA fans, get ready. They swoosh, you save. Thanks to Dash Pass, every time a player drops 50 or more points in a game, you score a huge deal the next day. It's simple. When any player scores 50 or more in a game during the 2024-25 NBA regular season, Dash Pass members get 50% off an order up to $10 off the next day from noon to midnight. Here are a few ways you can take advantage of this deal. After an epic 50-point performance, celebrate by ordering wings, pizza, or burgers from your favorite spot delivered straight to your door. Wings, pizza, or burgers. Shay, not all three of them. Nonetheless, planning to catch the next game, order your go-to snacks and meals at a discount and get ready for more high-scoring action. Sign up for Dash Pass and be ready to save. When any player scores 50 or more in a game, Dash Pass members get 50% off an order the next day, up to $10 off. Just use promo code NBA50 from noon to midnight after a 50-point game on eligible orders at participating merchants. Must have an active Dash Pass account. Terms apply. Visit DoorDash.com to learn more. More Locked On Bulls coming up next.
I will eat all three at once.
Shade's definitely ordering all three. He's stacking them up, bro. Bones and all. Like, he's Nigerian. He bites through the bones and all of the wings. But Pat, I figured today when I was putting together the topic list, why not put you in a terrible situation? Not really that terrible. It's not really that bad. I'm just being dramatic. But I want to know if you had to choose between which one, because the Bulls very well could make this choice. Between Josh Giddey and Coby White, who are you picking to have the long-term future with the Chicago Bulls?
You know what? I think for me, Giddey is the one that is interesting right now. And I know that may seem crazy, but it is the, if you can give me that level of defensive intensity that we've seen over the last couple of games continuously, you do everything else. The biggest problem that I had with Josh Giddey this season is Josh Giddey has just been absolutely confused and lost on the defensive end. Mm-hmm. I'm not asking you to be Jimmy Butler. I'm not asking you to be, I'm not asking you to be Lonzo Ball. I'm asking you to look like you care on that end. And since we've gotten back from the All-Star break, couple games in, he has looked like he's cared. For me with Coby, I know what Coby is. Coby's going to be a great scorer throughout this league. He's going to be somebody that can get hot. But he is the microwave kind of player. He's going to give you a bad half. He's going to give you a great half. He's going to have games where he's completely down. He's going to drop 50. He's going to, that's kind of if Coby is the number 3 on a team, Coby's a great player. The problem is with this Bulls team, Coby's going to be a 1 or a 2 right now. He's going to be, and I'm talking about scoring options, not positional. So for me, am I living with the inconsistencies of Coby White giving me, a 30-point game one night, a 8-point game the next, or am I living with the consistency from Josh Giddey on the offensive end of 12, 7, and 8, but on the defensive end, the question marks that come with that. Oddly enough, I actually think I'd rather rock with Josh Giddey kind of in that conversation because, again, I think defensive intensity is just something that it's effort. You have to show. We watched Kyle Korver play his best defense of his career here in Chicago. Kyle Korver's a terrible defender. And he just got to a point where it was like, well, he don't look lost. He can't stop anybody. He's not a great defender. He's not a lock now, but he doesn't look lost anymore. He knows where he's supposed to be. That's all I'm asking of Josh Giddey, because you saw how the defensive intensity of the Bulls changed as he raised his game. He wasn't the guy you could pick on throughout the entire game. How many times we watch teams literally go, break, get the ball to whoever he guarding.
I feel where you're coming from with that for sure. The way I look at it is this, and this may not be the best way to look at it, right? I think this is the question you have to ask yourself, though, is like, can you, if Josh Giddey goes somewhere else and finds a way to become a better defender or a better three-point shooter, God forbid both, or if Coby goes somewhere else and becomes a consistent scorer, which one do you feel like is the bigger thing to miss out on, right? That's I think something you have to factor into this. Now, neither may happen. Coby can go away, and Kobe's just going to always be the inconsistent scorer he's been.
Yeah,
Josh Giddey can go away. He's always going to be the sometimes defender that he's been. That could happen here. I think you have to weigh, when you're looking at planning the future, you have to weigh and also look at what type of team are you building. And I think a big part is going to come in who they draft. Because if they do draft somebody that has tremendous scoring upside, at that point, it makes Coby White scoring a little bit less needed, right? And then if they do, because I personally think the Bulls have to go best player available. If they do end up drafting a point guard that has some scoring plus creating abilities as far as being a passer, then maybe that frees up. So there's a world in which either one makes sense. But if we're in a world where we have to ask either or, I'd probably say Josh Giddey as well. The way that he creates, if you just put the right pieces around him, I and even defensively, I can see that defensive aspect that he has, somebody cleaning that up. Coby White's inconsistent scoring. I love Coby. Pat, you know, me and you've talked about it. I've talked glowingly about Coby, so please no one take this as me trying to slight Coby White, because that's not it. But inconsistent scorers are a dime a dozen in the NBA. And unless Kobe's going to add something more than that, I get it, he rebounds well as also, but unless you're going to add more than that consistently, you can find another player that can put up an inefficient 25 points a night. And again, that's not to knock Coby, but it's to be real.
No, but that is truthful, right? How many point guards are able to rebound like Josh Giddey can, able to facilitate like Josh Giddey can, able to listen and from what we've seen, and it's got to continue over the last couple of games, though, from what we've seen, when he's got a smaller guy on him, able to attack like Josh Giddey can, right? Like two up more on your team. Like you've got two of those guys that kind of fit that bill on your team. So what you're asking, and I think this is the thing, right? All I'm asking is that you give the effort. If all I need to get out of you is more effort, now granted, you got Billy Donovan as your coach, but that's on coaching. That's on coaching to get the most out of a guy to give his all on the defensive end. That's on coaching to get the most out of a guy. Again, right? Kyle Korver didn't play great defense anywhere else except with Tom Thibodeau, because it was demanded of him. This is what you're going to do. You have to do this for you to get minutes on this floor. I don't care how good of a shooter you are. There needs to be some coach in the building that is that guy. And I don't know if the Bulls have that guy right now. I don't know if the coaching staff is going to change to where you get that guy. I can always find Coby White again. He is not a he is not a diamond in the rough. He is a dime a dozen. Indiana has a guy like that. Heck, we could run down all the worst teams in the NBA. Send me Jordan Poole. Same thing. So, you know what I mean? Like, name me the player. Trae Young is that same guy. He's a star in this league.
Well, Trae Young's also one of the. I think he's leading the league in assists as well. But he
is a better assist getter.
Yeah.
But it's just it's that conversation of, right, like, can you find that player again? It's a lot harder to find a legitimate facilitating point guard in the NBA in today's era, and I think that's something that the Bulls need, than it is to find a guy who, yes, he can average 20 plus points per game, but is he doing it in the best way possible?
Yeah.
So I think the Bulls are, listen, you're in a, I don't want to say you're in a rock and between a rock and a hard place with either of these. I think that both are, you know, at the end of the season, we'll see kind of which one ends up being more consistent. It probably will end up being Giddey just because of all the other things that he brings. But if you're talking about moving on from either one of these guys, I don't think it changes my outlook of the future of this team in the long term at all any differently. If you talk about keeping either one of these guys, I don't think it changes the future outlook of this team dramatically.
That's fair. You're right. So We'll see what the future holds, man. Overall, I mean, that's a question that the front office does have to at least start trying to answer. I do think high probability Coby and Giddey are both still on the roster at the start of next season, unless they draft a guard, which I think then you may have to look to do some other things. But it is a question that they're going to have to find the answer to coming up here within the next 12 months. So we'll see what the future does hold for them.
For sure, man. Now here comes the question that everybody's asking. Will the Chicago Bulls ever fall out of the play-in? Doesn't seem like it, but there's a good chance of it tonight because they actually play a team that can take their spot. Talk about all that and more right after we hear a word from our sponsors. We got to tell you guys all about FanDuel, man. When the game tips off, the NBA action is just getting started, and there's no better place to get in on that than FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. With FanDuel, you can place live bets throughout the game, so even if you miss the opening tip-off or want to bet on the fourth quarter comeback, you can stay in on the action. And if you're looking for a bigger payout, you can even combine your live bets into same-game parlays. The thing about FanDuel is every moment of the game is exciting. Whether I'm backing my team for a late game rally or picking a player to hit a clutch three, it never feels like you miss a chance. Plus, the app is easy to use, and when you win, you get paid instantly. Right now, FanDuel customers can claim $150 in bonus bets if you have your first $5 bet win. Just visit FanDuel.com to join today. That's FanDuel.com for your shot at $150 in bonus bets. Make every moment more with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. More Locked On Bulls coming up next.
All right, Pat. So today's the day. The Bulls could finally fall out of the play-in today. The Bulls are only a half game above the Brooklyn Nets. They play today. We play the Philadelphia 76ers, so if we lose to them, they also gain a full game on us. I don't think that's going to happen. The Sixers are just, they're miserable right now. It's crazy that we're talking about the Brooklyn Nets being the team that could knock the Bulls out the play-in, considering how their season looked coming into this. I'm going to ask you this question, real quick one on this one. Do the Bulls fall out of the play-in between now and the end of the season? Do you think that the Bulls fall out of the play-in, or do they stay in the play-in?
Dog, I feel like I'm saying no. I honestly think, and listen, I picked the Bulls. What I say, the Bulls win 3 games the rest of the season.
Yep.
I honestly think those 3 wins will keep the Bulls in the play-in because Philly is horrid. And they have to figure out how to blow that team up. Like you got to move on from Joel Embiid. Do not send him here.
Listen, I've said that before, but
they have to blow that team up.
Yeah.
You're holding back Tyrese Maxey. And the Brooklyn Nets, the only reason they're a half game behind us is because of a Nick Claxton game winner.
Yep, who they just picked up.
A Nick Claxton game winner. That there's no way. The East is so horrible. We can't even lose enough to fall out of the play-in, dog.
We have the second longest losing streak in the NBA, and we have stayed at 10th the whole time because the Philadelphia 76ers suck. And the Brooklyn Nets had to win so many games just to get back into the spot of even being able to take it over.
Bro,
it's crazy.
I really do not believe that the Bulls will fall out of the play-in. Now, I'm hoping that they do. Mostly because I don't need the extra game. Yeah, I mean, I'm good. We don't need to see another. You know what's crazy? If I'm not mistaken, Hayes, this will be the first year of the play-in that the Bulls aren't in it.
Well, I mean, the first year of DeMar, remember, we were a playoff team that year. We didn't even have to go through the play-in, so we weren't in it that year. But this would be, yeah.
We were
6 that year.
We were 6 that year?
Yeah.
Okay, so this will be the first time in a while then. I couldn't remember if we got in through the play-in and ended up being the final seed or if we won straight out. But that's tough because we only won like 7 games the rest of that season as well. But yeah, bro.
We won 5 out of the last 25 games that season.
That's nuts. I remember us doing this show. No, that's the year we took over.
That's the year we took over.
And everybody
we haven't won since you guys took over. Sure, it's our fault. Sure, thank you for that.
Technically, that's still right. We haven't won much since we took over Locked On Bulls. But no, man, like I actually think that this team is going to stay in the play-in despite probably losing most of their final games the rest of the way. And because I think they're going to win tonight, and you're going to gain a game on Brooklyn, which is going to suck. And it's going to be enough to absolutely boost you far enough down the line here to win, to stay in the play-in.
And here's the thing. Here's the way that I look at it, though. Honestly, if the Bulls don't get in the top 4, all the talent there after the top 4, all the talent has very similar ceilings. We're talking about you can get a person that's going to probably be close to a career starter between 5 and 20. They all have very similar ceilings. Some are, of course, a little bit higher than others. So I'm not like, now the thing that I worry about is that this would be the Bulls season where somehow they make it into the play-in, and this is the year they make it out. They win both games and they make it out the play-in because something crazy happens, and then we're both stuck looking like, so you mean to tell me we went through all of this and we don't get a lottery pick? Now that's where I would go off, bro. You want to talk about a crash out? I'm crashing the hell out.
You want to know the worst part, bro? Can we really crash out though?
Yes.
Because here's the thing. They're clearly not trying to win.
You're right. But if somehow they still make it into the playoffs as the 8th seed and lose out on a lottery pick in the season, we can all say they weren't trying to win. Because bro, I'm just saying. I don't think it's going to happen, but I'm just saying that it would be the most Bulls-like thing for that to be what happens. And we walk out of a season where we traded Zach LaVine to just not even have a lottery pick. Yeah, now, this is a draft where you can still get a damn good player outside the lottery, but it still just would be like, yep, this is the AK experience.
That might be a crash out moment. We hit our hot month, our Bobby Portis month in the play-in.
Nikola Mirotic month.
Nico Mirotic month in the play-in tournament. That'd be nasty work. That'd be absolutely nasty work. Hey,
now watch it be though, because Modest is going off for 35 points, and then we're sitting there conflicted like.
Nah, I wouldn't be conflicted at that point because I did say that, right? Like the end of this season is about figuring out who Modest is. That's all anyone should care about in the front office. That's all anyone should care about in that building. Figure out who Modest Buzelis is. Give him more than 10 shots.
Yeah.
If you're telling me in a playoff scenario, Modest Buzelis is the guy that got you to the playoffs.
Well, I'm not saying got you there. That's not what I'm saying.
Well, I'm saying you're winning in the play-in, and he's dropping 35 a night to get you.
That's not enough. I'm sorry, that's not enough for me because Modest Buzelis is not going to drop 35 a point next year. I get what you're saying, and I understand your logic. That's not enough for me because we still need more talent to be a solid team going forward. Modest Buzelis is not dropping 35 every game next season. So Modest could average 40 in the play-in and we make it to the play. I don't care.
No, but if it's 35 on like the first time Billy Donovan was like, F it, shoot the ball.
No, I'm good.
If Billy finally is just like, hey, shoot it, see what happens, bro. Like, see how many points you can put up. He puts up 50 in the play.
I'm good on that. Nope. Not gonna happen.
Any last stuff before we get up out of here? Hey, that's the scenario that would suck. If it's because Kevin Huerter goes off for 30, that's the scenario where I'd be like, you son of an AK.
Kevin Huerter is just he's lights out from 3. It's Kevin Huerter going the hell off.
Oh God, I that would be the scenario.
How conflicted would you be if it's P. Will?
I mean, that would be P. Will having a high game. Ain't that surprising? That would.
Yeah, but not. Well, it would be P. Will. It would be the most P. won't thing that go in the hot game at the wrong time. Everybody's
yeah.
If P. Will just score 45 in a play-in game, yeah.
Who we playing? I think that's the thing. Who are we slated against right now?
Right now, we be playing Atlanta Hawks again. It's the same thing. It's the Atlanta Hawks again.
That I don't care about because if we playing the Hawks, and dang, the Hawks are. No, because you play.
Oh no, it's not the 9-10. We played the Magic.
Yeah, listen. If P. Will cooked versus Paolo Banchero, I'd feel okay about that. It would suck because then that second game, it's like, are we playing the Heat? We really have played the same teams every single year. Let's get out of here, man. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. Show love. Hit that like button. This thing sucks. It's back to sucking again. The play-in I'm talking about. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page, leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. Follow me on everything at Pat the Designer. Follow us both on everything at Locked On Bulls. Long as
Locked On Bulls is free and available on every podcasting app and platform of your choice, as well as YouTube, the Odyssey app, Amazon Fire TV, and now Roku TV as well. So make sure you guys go and support us over there. Also go to LockedOnDaily.com to sign up for the daily Locked On Bulls newsletter as well to get that right into your inbox. But for Pat the Designer, I'm Hayes. This has been Locked On Bulls. We out of here. Peace, y'all.
Peace.